My name is Jennifer Hessing, and I'm a fraud analytics director. I've been with Wells Fargo for over 20 years. My team uses data to detect fraud and patterns and trends in the data. In my job, I'm a fraud fighter. I've been doing this for over 20 years. So basically, I eat, sleep, and breathe fraud. My team uses data to detect fraud and prevent it for our customers. So the goal really is for us to find that needle in a haystack. So we are trying to determine and separate the good transactions from the bad transactions. Scammers are always on the prowl, but tax season is a prime opportunity for them to pounce. Be cautious. The scammers can leverage a phishing email, a smishing text, or a spoofed call to pose as an IRS agent. The stats are astonishing. $2.7 billion. That's the latest figure from the FTC on what consumers are losing from imposter scams. The scammers never sleep. They are constantly evolving their trends and tactics and the way that they perpetrate the fraud. But it really has that underlying theme of getting at your money. They want your identity and your personal information. And the way that they perpetrate it has changed over the years, like a lottery scam or a romance scam, or this time of year, a tax scam. So really, we're trying to educate consumers to be on the lookout so that they don't become a victim. I've been doing this for over 20 years, but even I've had loved ones that have fallen victim to these scams, and it's just awful. People can lose thousands of dollars, so we're really trying to educate consumers that this is a year-round trend, and particularly around tax season, so that they don't fall victim. An imposter scam is when somebody poses as a trusted person or business or entity with the end goal of stealing your data or your personal information. So they may pretend to be the IRS or your bank. If they have your personal information, they could file taxes in your name or open an account on your name. On the financial side, they're looking to gain access to your online login for your bank or for your tax prep software or even your account number. Imposter scams can take a variety of different forms. It can be a phone call, an email, a text message, or even a social media interaction. With the phone calls, they are typically spoofing the phone number, which means that they are altering what you see on your caller ID to make it look like it's coming from that trusted source, like the IRS, for example. They can also use targeted emails or text messages with language like, get your max refund now, or click here to enter your account information to get your money. They're trying to either lure you in with the promise of the money, or they are trying to sometimes demand payment and use scare tactics and act with that sense of urgency. Sometimes the fraudsters will request payment via an unusual form like cryptocurrency or gift cards or wires, not what you would typically expect when you're making a payment to the IRS. According to the IRS, they will typically use the regular mail for interactions. So if you are getting communications via one of these other channels, that should be definitely a red flag. Be cautious about sharing personal information, especially with unsolicited communication. If somebody's calling you out of the blue, be cautious because caller ID can be altered. Consider filing your taxes early. That way, nobody is submitting taxes in your name, which has unfortunately happened to me. And now the IRS sends me an identity protection PIN number in the mail each year, which I submit along with my taxes. And that's something that anybody can request. You can go directly to the IRS's website and search for identity protection PIN, and that's a great safeguard for your data and your identity. For an added layer of security when filing your taxes, you can request an identity protection PIN number directly from the IRS's website. That's a great safeguard for your identity and your data. Consider filing taxes electronically, or if you're using the paper, mail it directly inside the post office. That way you make sure it gets where it needs to be. We've been seeing a rash of external mailboxes that are targets for theft. So the bad guys try to steal your personal information out of the mailbox, or even find checks that they can alter or create fake checks against your account. During tax season, a growing trend is for scammers to try to get at your login for your tax prep software. So it's particularly important this time of year to safeguard those credentials and your personal identity. Do your research when choosing a tax preparer. Ghost preparers will complete your taxes, but they will not sign or include their tax ID number as required by law. So be cautious and don't sign an incomplete or blank return. Imposter scams happen year-round, but it's particularly active during tax season. We do not want fraud to happen to you. These scams can be heartbreaking. People can lose their life savings, but the bad guys don't care. This is their job. Their goal is to steal your money and to steal your data. So we want consumers to be informed, to trust your gut if something doesn't feel right about an interaction, and to be on the lookout for scams and trends and fraud.